G20 टूरिज्म टास्क ग्रुप की 3 दिवसीय मीटिंग आज सोमवार से श्रीनगर में शुरू होगी। डल झील किनारे शेर कश्मीर इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशन सेंटर यानी SKICC में आयोजित मीटिंग में विभिन्न देशों के 60 से ज्यादा प्रतिनिधि शामिल होंगे। आकाश से लेकर जमीन तक निगरानी रखी है। डल झील में मार्कोस कमांडो का पहरा है। G20 कार्यक्रम में चीफ कोऑर्डिनेटर हर्षवर्धन श्रृंगला ने रविवार को श्रीनगर के शेर कश्मीर इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस सेंटर में प्री इवेंट प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कहा कि इस 3 दिवसीय G20 शिखर सम्मेलन पर सभी की निगाहें हैं। श्रीनगर मेजबानी के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है। केंद्र सरकार और जम्मू कश्मीर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को उम्मीद है कि इस आयोजन से जहां की पर्यटन क्षमता, स्थानीय पर्यटन, एडवेंचर टूरिज्म, फिल्म और इको टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा मिलेगा। इससे स्थानीय युवाओं के लिए अवसरों के कई रास्ते खुलेंगे। साथ ही इस जम्मू कश्मीर की अर्थव्यवस्था को पुनर्जीवित करने में मदद मिलेगी। G20 मीटिंग श्रीनगर में 22 से 24 मई तक होगी। श्रृंगला ने कहा कि श्रीनगर बड़े पैमाने पर मेकओवर से गुजरा है। युद्ध स्तर पर फाइबर केबल बिछाई जा रही है और युद्ध स्तर पर एक बड़ा विकास हुआ है। G20 कार्यक्रम पहली बार भारत के उत्तर, दक्षिण, पूर्व और पश्चिम हिस्सों में हो रहे हैं। G20 के बारे में देश के सभी हिस्सों में बड़े पैमाने पर अवेयरनेस कैंप आयोजित किए गए हैं। विशेष रूप से श्रीनगर में G20 कार्यक्रम के लिए मेहमानों का आगमन शुरू हो गया है। श्रृंगला ने कहा कि इसमें भारत के विभिन्न हिस्सों से अंतर्राष्ट्रीय वक्ता और अतिथि शामिल होंगे। समूह चर्चा भी होगी। केंद्रीय पर्यटन सचिव अरविंद सिंह ने प्रेस वार्ता में कहा कि पर्यटन पर अंतिम बैठक गोवा में होगी। इस लिहाज से ये बैठक महत्वपूर्ण है। ड्राफ्ट फाइनल किया जाएगा। श्रीनगर में वर्किंग ग्रुप की ये इकलौती बैठक है। हमने देश के उत्कृष्ट प्रतिक्रिया देखी है। सबसे ज़्यादा संख्या में जहां आने के लिए मान्यता दी गई है, ये उत्साहजनक है। हमने पुख्ता इंतजाम किए हैं। लाल चौक समेत शहर के कई इलाकों में NSG कमांडो ने डेरा डाल रखा है। डल झील के किनारे बुलवर्ड रोड पर 3 दिनों तक ट्रैफिक बाधित रहेगा। इस बीच इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर से लेकर लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल तक अलर्ट है। सीमावर्ती जिले कठुआ, सांबा, जम्मू, राजौरी, पुंछ, बारामूला, कुपवाड़ा व बांडीपुरा में IV व LOC पर जवानों को अतिरिक्त सतर्कता बरतने की हिदायत दी गई है। सम्मेलन के पहले दिन दोपहर बाद प्रतिनिधियों का SKICC में आगमन होगा। शाम को सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रम से उनका स्वागत होगा। क्राफ्ट बाजार में लोकल प्रोडक्ट्स की प्रदर्शनी में प्रतिनिधियों को देखने का मौका मिलेगा। अगले दिन आर्थिक विकास व सांस्कृतिक संरक्षण के लिए फिल्म पर्यटन विषय पर सेशन होगा, जिससे फिल्म पर्यटन को बढ़ावा मिल सकेगा। इसके साथ ही इको टूरिज्म पर भी एक अलग सेशन होगा। G20 में शामिल होने वाले प्रतिनिधि परी महल, चश्मशाही तथा मुगल गार्डन का दौरा करेंगे। इसके साथ ही वे पोलो व्यू मार्केट का भी दौरा करेंगे, जिसका हाल ही में जीर्णोद्धार किया गया है। जम्मू कश्मीर के चीफ सेक्रेटरी अरुण कुमार मेहता ने कहा कि कुछ वर्षों में जम्मू कश्मीर के टूरिज्म फ्लो में बढ़ोतरी देखी गई है। 2022 में 1.88 करोड़ पर्यटकों ने जम्मू कश्मीर का दौरा किया। मेरा मानना है कि ये अभी शुरुआत है। हम अगले साल दिल्ली से श्रीनगर के लिए सीधी ट्रेन चलाएंगे और ये एक तकनीकी चमत्कार होगा। इस साल विदेशी पर्यटकों के आगमन में कई गुना बढ़ोतरी हुई है। 300 नए पर्यटन स्थलों को तलाशने की रूपरेखा बनाई है। पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि जब ऐसे स्थल सर्दियों में खुले रहे हैं जो कभी कल्पना नहीं की जा सकती थी। सोनमर्ग साल भर खुला रहा है। जम्मू कश्मीर 4 रंगों की पेशकश करता है। सफ़ेद, जिसका अर्थ है बर्फ़, इंद्रधनुष का अर्थ है बसंत, गर्मियों में हरा और पतझड़ में नारंगी। इसलिए जम्मू कश्मीर विशुद्ध रूप से एक पर्यटन स्थल है जो पूरे साल मेहमानों का स्वागत करने के लिए तैयार रहता है। G20 के भव्य आयोजन में भाग लेने वाले विदेशी और घरेलू मेहमानों का स्वागत करते हैं।
We are now at an approximate halfway point in our presidency of the G20. In the last approximately 6 months, we have completed 118 meetings in 46 different cities across the length and breadth of our country. We obviously, for every meeting that is held, there is a lot of planning and preparation and organization. And I think the meeting in Srinagar is no exception to that. This has entailed planning at least a year and a half prior to this actual event. The G20 Secretariat and members of the Ministry of Tourism have been visiting Srinagar. Secretary Tourism and I myself visited tourism. This is the second time we are here in advance of the meeting. When we came here about a few months ago, we saw that there was a lot of work in progress. Srinagar is a smart city. There was a lot of effort to complete the work relating to the smart city project. We also looked at many of the areas that that were relevant to the G-20. And I can say with all sincerity that as we drive around the city, we see a completely transformed Srinagar. We've gone to the markets, we've gone to the riverfront, we've gone to the lake area, we've gone to many of the other places that we visited the last time. And we found that, that Srinagar today is vastly more beautiful. Its facilities and amenities are that much greater. There is a lot of pride when we talk to many of the citizens, when we move around the city, in some of the systems that have been introduced, whether it is underground optic fibers, sewerage systems, water and drainage. I think from that perspective, it is truly a smart city of the type that we would like to showcase to the rest of the world. And tomorrow, as we would receive a very large number of international delegates that will come from some of the most influential countries across the world, I think we can say with pride that this is one of our most beautiful, naturally scenic, but also one of the most beautiful urban environments that we can present to our guests from across the world. Now, one thing that is that Secretary Tourism and Additional Secretary Rakesh Ji has already told you is that the tourism working group is a very specific one. It is actually one of the working groups that is most in line with our objectives to present our rich and diverse cultural identity, to also present to the world our tourism potential. And no other working group does it better than the tourism working group. In the first working group of the tourism engagement, or rather the tourism group, we was in Ran of Kutch in Gujarat, western part of India. The second one was in Darjeeling in West Bengal, in the eastern part of India. The third, of course, which is Srinagar, which is the northern part of India, will present to our tourism representatives from across the world one of the most, as I said, scenic spots in our country, and from the tourism perspective, very, very relevant. But what is more important, I think, is that we have tried to bring in specific elements of tourism, as Secretary mentioned, whether it is sustainable tourism, eco-tourism, adventure tourism, film tourism, what is relevant to J&K, what is relevant to the Union Territory and the people of this place is what is being highlighted in this tourism working group meeting. As you also know that the vision of the Prime Minister is to ensure that the message of India's G20 presidency is taken down to the grassroots level through a Jan Bhagidari process. And so a lot of efforts have been made to sensitize people in our country about G20, and that is why we've also held it in locations across our country, north, south, east and west. And in that context, I think a lot of effort has been done in Jammu and Kashmir in terms of the events that have been held on G20. I'm sure Chief Secretary will speak more about it, but we were very, very impressed with things like the walkathon, things like the cycle event that was held to popularize G20, or the mock G20 process, or the awareness rally in Badgam. You had, as I said, the walkathon in Baramulla. Sports is an important area where G20 is being popularized. So this, I think, is critical, and film tourism, as Secretary mentioned, is very specific to J&K. Every meeting should have outcomes, and I said that there is no better outcome in terms of any sector, any industry than tourism in terms of percolation of wealth, distribution of wealth. The very idea that we should use this meeting to draw attention to Jammu and Kashmir, introduce qualitative and specific and new areas of tourism. How can this help revive the local economy in terms of handicrafts, textiles, in many of the other very, very critical areas in Jammu and Kashmir, which has a very rich culture and handicrafts tradition, I think is very, very important. And we ourselves have seen there's a lot of effort and excitement in the city and in the state, in the Union Territory, on the potentials that can come forward. We've seen women's self-help groups, we've seen many groups mobilize, and I want to mention this as not a person who lives in Jammu and Kashmir, someone who has come and seen it from outside, but we are proud of the fact that we have such traditions in our country, and those traditions are today being revived popularized and promoted in a manner that has never been done before. One last aspect, and of course that is besides the fact that the UN's SDGs very greatly emphasize on lowering inequality in terms of incomes. Tourism does that, and I think that's important. But last but not the least, I want to convey a very grateful thanks. See, every G20 meeting, the role of states and union territories is critical. The central government can do a certain amount, but at the end of the day, the state's role and the state's contribution is critical to the success of any G20 meeting in our country. And the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, led by the Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Honorable Chief Secretary, and an incredible and absolutely outstanding team of officers who have worked day and night to make this event a success. I'm sure both Secretary Tourism and I would like to convey our sense of both gratitude. It has been teamwork, of course. All of us have worked very closely together. But the Union Territory really has gone out of its way, taken it as a matter of pride for the Union Territory, looked at the G20 as an opportunity, and I'm sure if the G20 is the most significant international event we have held in India ever, this will be the most significant event ever in Jammu and Kashmir, and we are all looking forward to that.
In G20, and I don't know how to make them participate. We can't participate in the discussions. So we held a lot of events in universities. We held a lot of events in the sports arena. So there has been huge enthusiasm, and the mayor of the city will be hosting the lunch, and many of you will be invited there. So welcome to J&K. Just about tourism, last year 2022, this was the highest ever number of people who visited J&K ever, and this was 1.88 crore. And so some of you who may not understand crores, it is 18.8 million. And the number of tourists who visited Kashmir last year was twice the previous highest, which was in 2017. That's the change. So, and this is just the beginning. Mark my words, this is just the beginning. Next year you will have trains coming here to Srinagar straight from Delhi. And this will be a marvel in its own way. It will be a technological wonder, if I may say so. And the national highway will be great. Some of you might actually want to drive from Srinagar to Jammu, just for the driving pleasure, in 6 months' time from today. And the trains will be beautiful. Many people have experienced J&K and may not know that J&K has a lot more to offer than you have seen. J&K has 4 colors. How many of you are aware? There is a white Kashmir in winter, there is a rainbow Kashmir in spring, there is a green Kashmir in summers, and there is an orange Kashmir in autumn. Experience each one of them. And you may have seen only few sites which Srinagar, Gulmarg, and but last year and the year before, we said it's not about few months in a year, it's about 12 months a year tourism. And some of the sites that people never thought will be open in winters have started to remain open. For example, Srinagar now remains open throughout the year. And we have facilities. So we have 300 new destinations coming up. And with the amount of tourists that are flowing in, we need that to disperse them and let them enjoy in fact, many of the sites in J&K, both Jammu and Kashmir, are picture perfect. If some of the sites are straight out of the picture postcard. And you have seen the riverfront. I'll just mention a few more things. One is that it adds about 7% to our economy. And I'm extremely grateful to Government of India to have hosted this event here, because that allows J&K to occupy its novel sort of slot in the tourism. If you are thinking tourism, it has to be sort of J&K starting with, because what it has to offer in terms of natural beauty is unbeatable. Today you have seen the Dal, and I keep saying the Dal is cleanest ever. You will have lots of light and clusters of light that you will be seeing, and I welcome all of you to experience in the evening. The riverfront has come up now, Polo View has come up now, the Residency Road and so on and so forth. I'm not going to count it, Jammu area, you will have the Ravi Barrage coming up, so you will have Jammu upgrading itself in terms of tourism potential. Jammu has a lot of tourism potential. J&K as a whole has immense tourism potential, and extremely grateful to Government of India to have given us an opportunity to sort of host this event. Just a couple of more things and I'll close. One is that we expect to cross the number of 2 crore this year, definitely. And one of the very positive signs that has happened this year, and this Mr. Srinagar may like to take note of, that foreign tourists have come in a very large number this year. So this is catching up and going ahead. So we have already caught on with the previous numbers, and so that's a very healthy sign that we have a lot of foreign tourists arriving here. Very, very healthy sign, and we are looking forward to welcoming both Indian guests as well as foreign guests, because when it comes to hospitality, there is nothing to beat J&K. And people of J&K are so hospitable, and you should experience it. And the second thing I wanted to tell you, that this event will be there for next 3 days, for 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th you will be going back. In between we have made a lot of arrangements for you to be able to go out and see some places. Prerna is there, is Secretary Information. She will be able to help you with, if you wish to go to some other places apart from attending the event here, you will be facilitated. So experience J&K, and the transformation that is happening in J&K. Srinagar is just a small example of that. You can see the transformation in every sector and everywhere. And we feel very proud of being part of this. And we feel extremely happy that Mr. Arvind Singh and Mr. Srinagar have allowed this event to be hosted here. Look forward to you enjoying your time here, and look forward to all of you coming again. You'll be busy this time, so you will not be able to experience as much as you would like to. But after 25th as well, some of you who are coming from outside should come back again and experience J&K. And but I hope you have a very wonderful time over the next 3 days. Thanks for being here.
बहुत से ई रिक्शा के टेस्ट के बाद अब अमूल ने चुना शक्तिशाली काइनेटिक ई रिक्शा, क्योंकि अमूल को है विश्वास कि काइनेटिक ई रिक्शा ही उठा पाएगा उनके भारी भरकम आइसक्रीम रेफ्रिजरेटर। जबकि अमूल के इस विश्वास पर 100% खरा उतरा है काइनेटिक ई रिक्शा, जो कि आपके शहर व गांव में घूमकर दिखा रहा है अपनी पावर का दम। इसके 1500 वॉट की मोटर हर रास्ते पर दिखाए पावर का दम, 12 इंच के लंबे टायर और मजबूत गैब्रियल शॉकर जो दे झटकों से आराम। इसकी बैटरी जल्द चार्ज होकर दे दिन भर घूमने की आज़ादी। इसमें है आगे व पीछे की मजबूत ब्रेक के साथ पार्किंग ब्रेक भी, और चढ़ाई चढ़ने के लिए है एक हैवी गियर। जबकि सवारी ई रिक्शा दे बिना झटकों के आरामदायक सफर की गारंटी। जम्मू में काइनेटिक ई रिक्शा के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर व सर्विस सेंटर है जुपिटर मोटर। यहाँ आपको मिलेगी पूरी आधुनिक तकनीक के साथ ई रिक्शा की सर्विस, वो भी बिना इंतजार किए मात्र आधे घंटे में। यहाँ कुशल कारीगर आपके ई रिक्शा में आई खराबी को पलक झपकते कर देंगे दूर। तो अगर आप भी सोच रहे हैं अपना बिजनेस बढ़ाने की, तो आज ही बुक करवाएं शक्तिशाली काइनेटिक ई रिक्शा। हमारा पता है जुपिटर मोटर्स, बिहाइंड साइंस सहयोग बार, एकता विहार, गंग्याल, जम्मू। मोबाइल नंबर 9780848888। जम्मू कश्मीर की खबरों के लिए जुड़े रहिए जीके अपडेट के साथ।